Happy Wednesday. So, big reminder for everybody, probably even a big reminder for myself today, is that you are allowed to be a work in progress and freaking amazing, like all at the same time. Right? So here's why we're talking about this today. Yesterday, I had, like a day where you wake up in the morning and you're like, holy shit, like I'm starting out pretty good, and then like a trickle of events happens, and you're a mom and you're a toddler mom and you spill the milk and like everything happens, and suddenly you're like, this is a shit show day and I'm pissed off, right? And you're in that space, right? And then at the same time, you're like, oh my God, okay, I'm making this mean something about me, right? Like now I'm pissed off and I'm in a bad mood and I'm, kind of a little salty, and I'm making this mean something. Like I didn't do something well enough this morning, or I didn't, like self-care enough earlier this morning, or I didn't get enough sleep or whatever. And so when you're in that space, you're making how you feel mean something about yourself, right? But that is a little bit of a tricky, slippery slope, right? Because at the same time, we sometimes forget that we're allowed to have all of that stuff happen. We're allowed to have a funky day. We're allowed to have a day where like shit hits the fan and life goes wrong and life feels hard and life feels a struggle. And we're allowed to have that and feel like you're having kind of a struggle bus day or whatever, but you're still allowed to be a good person, a good mom, amazing. You're still allowed to feel good. You're still allowed to excel in your life. You're still allowed to do other things. You're still allowed to have other things, right? You're still allowed to be a good person. You're still allowed to be an amazing human being, an amazing woman, all of that kind of stuff. You're still allowed to be amazing even when you feel like you're a hot mess expressed. Case in point, right now in Minnesota, it's humid AF, right? And I have curly hair. And so when it's humid AF and I have curly hair, like most of the time, I end up looking like an alpaca because literally I can't control anything about humidity and curly hair, right? There's like, I have two options. I can just let it run wild, or I can try to put some product in it and tame it and see what happens. But mostly the third option, it always exists, which is a ponytail, right? I'm allowed to look like an alpaca with curly hair in humidity and craziness and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm still allowed to be a good person, have a good day, be a good human being, all of that kind of stuff, right? They can exist in the same space. They can exist in the same day. They can exist in the same freaking 5 minutes, right? So back to yesterday. Yesterday was struggle bus AF in the morning. I was crabby. I was bitchy. I was bucky. I was a little bit resentful. I was probably feeling sorry for myself somewhere in the morning. I'm sure of it, right? And at the same time, yesterday afternoon and evening were one of the best like 8-hour stretches that I've had in a long freaking time. So, what would have happened yesterday morning if I would have been like, oh, like I'm kind of, like I'm just going to live in this space. I'm just going to feel really shitty about feeling shitty right now. I'm just going to like, now that it's a shitty day, it's got to be a shitty day for the rest of the day, right? Now that it's a shitty day, it's just got to be here for the rest of the freaking day, right? I'm just going to let myself live here and be that. And like, it's shitty at 10 o'clock in the morning, so it has to be shitty at 10 p.m. at night, right? No. What I actually did was let myself feel a little struggle bus yesterday morning, right? And not feel guilty about it. Like there's so much damn pressure to feel freaking happy and unicorns and rainbows and roses and all that kind of stuff all the damn time. There's so much pressure to do that, right? There's so much pressure to be on point, to be blessed, to be grateful, to be happy, to be joyful, to feel, oh my God, excited and whatever, right? And if you're not caffeinated, or you spilled the milk in the morning, or your kids are like running wild and like they're feral because it's summer, like that's not going to be every damn day, right? But if you let yourself, when you're feeling like life's struggling, and if you let yourself like feel guilty for that, or make yourself feel bad for feeling a little bit struggly when you should be feeling so blessed, so grateful, so whatever, you're going to suppress all of those, like, I feel really yucky. I don't feel good. You're going to suppress that. You're going to stuff it down, and it's going to live inside of you, and it's going to hang on forever, right? So when you do that, what you're probably doing is, if you feel like shit at 10 a.m., you're probably still going to feel like shit at 10 p.m. because you stuffed it down and told yourself that you had to feel really freaking great and rosy and magical and unicorns all the time, right? You don't have to do that. What you can do instead, what I did yesterday, was recognize I feel like a freaking hot mess. I feel a little bit like an alpaca with crazy hair, curly hair, in humidity. I feel kind of like a really impatient mom. I feel kind of like, holy shit, I should be doing a better job at all of this. I feel kind of like, is it September yet and school started? And I feel kind of guilty for even saying that, right? But because I acknowledge that I feel shitty, I just let myself feel shitty for a hot minute, right? Just let yourself like have that. Just let yourself have it. And pretty soon when you feel that, hey, Callie, have a good day. Hope you're having a good day. When you feel shitty, let yourself have it. Why not? You don't have to feel unicorns and freaking rainbows all the time, right? You don't have to feel that. That's a lot of pressure. You don't have to stuff down the shittiness and try to convince yourself that you feel really awesome and feel really great. Instead, you can just take that heavy feeling that I feel like a hot mess right now. I feel like I'm struggling. I feel like I'm just not able to life right now. Let yourself have it. Let yourself feel that. What happens for me when I let myself feel that, instead of making it mean something about me, like I'm not doing something good enough, or I didn't get enough sleep, or God, you lazy slug, why are you doing this? And why are you letting yourself feel this way? And it's all about what you're doing, blah, 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 and like pretty soon making it mean something. When I let myself feel the hot mess express, when I let myself feel like a work in progress, and when I don't try to change that, and when I don't try to turn that into some positive bullshit, God, it just like moves on, right? Like suddenly you're like, you just acknowledge it, and it literally like, you'll notice a little while later, like I don't feel that anymore. Like it literally just moved through and moved on, and now I'm on to the next thing. That's exactly what happened to me yesterday. I felt like a hot mess. I felt pretty bitchy. I felt kind of nuts, all of that kind of stuff. I let myself feel that way. I let myself be a work in progress. By noon and by 12:30, I was like literally sitting down at the table eating lunch with my kids. Like, I don't feel like such a hot mess right now. I feel less like an alpaca with humidity curly hair. I feel less like a bad mom. I feel less like this. And then I was like acknowledging that, like, you're feeling good. You're feeling better. You're feeling like life's easier. And now I'm acknowledging that, and it's living here and it's being here, right? And it's working through my body and working through my system and working through my day. By like 2 p.m., I was having a fabulous effing day after a shit show morning, right? And like from 2 p.m. to 10 last night, I was like, we literally in this house could do no wrong. I could do no wrong. I felt really, really great. I felt connected to the whole day, felt like all the good things, right? Felt all the good stuff, right? I had a really great night with my husband. We actually finished with our kids playing outside, you know, like running around like crazy kids, like kids should be doing it in the summer anyway, and having a beer and just chilling, right? Such a damn struggle. If it starts out as a struggle, it doesn't have to end as a struggle. If it is a struggle and it needs to be a struggle today, it can still stay a struggle. Because it feels like a struggle doesn't mean that you're a bad person, or it doesn't mean that you're not awesome, or it doesn't mean that you're not amazing. And simultaneously, you're amazing and you're still allowed to feel like a struggle. You're amazing even when you have a good day, right? It's when we start to let all of this stuff mean something about us that shit hits the fan and crazy stuff happens, and then the wheels start falling off the bus and we get all up in our head, and that's stupid. That's silly. That's pointless. Like, what's the freaking point here? I don't really want to go through my life knowing that when one bad thing happens at 10 a.m. in the morning, that now the rest of the day is doomed. I don't really like that, right? That doesn't feel... That feels really, really heavy and freaking hard. And it feels like a crazy amount of pressure to make everything feel perfect. But what I do know, and I do believe, and I do like, you know, like thinking and knowing that is true about myself, is I'm allowed to have the whole spectrum. I'm allowed to have a hot mess moment. I'm still allowed to be kick-ass, right? I'm allowed to be simultaneously amazing and a work in progress. And the two don't mean anything about my character, right? And they don't mean anything about what kind of days I get to have, but I can acknowledge the amazing stuff and the hot mess express stuff. And those two are just fine, right? But when I try to stuff things down and change them and make them mean things and like blow smoke up my ass about how everything needs to be, that's when shit gets a little dicey. So, if you're having a crazy ass day, that's okay. Acknowledge that you're just having that day. Like, who cares? You're allowed to have that day on a Wednesday, right? You're allowed to have that day on a Thursday. You're also allowed to have, like, you're allowed to let yourself feel that without the pressure of needing to change it immediately about yourself. And I bet what might happen as soon as you start to feel that and acknowledge that you're having that struggle bus day and just letting yourself have it, and it doesn't mean you're a bad person, and it doesn't mean, you know, all of this stuff about you. Holy shit. I bet in a couple hours you're going to start to notice you feel a little bit different. And maybe you're going to have a really fucking great middle, and end of your day. Who knows? Right? Take the pressure off yourself. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal to feel like a hot mess. It's not that, it doesn't mean like you're morally superior if you always have a good day, right? Let yourself have the full spectrum and don't let it mean shit about who you are as a person, right? Here's what you need to know. Mom Boss Lifestyle is welcoming radass moms, and even the extra and the salty moms through July 31st of this month. Mom Boss Lifestyle is 2 parts. Hey Beth, hope you're having a good day. Mom Boss Lifestyle is 2 parts. It is equal parts unwinding the mindset piece, letting yourself be a salty AF mom while at the same time being an amazing human being, right? Letting yourself be a work in progress while be freaking kick ass in the process, right? Letting yourself be both and learning how to let that happen without you needing to like control freak it, do crazy shit to make it happen, make shit mean something about yourself, all that bullshit and all that noise and all that pressure. At the same time, like this is my favorite part, mindset, working on our inner strength, working on our mindset, working on how we allow ourselves to feel and get to feel at the same time that we grow our muscles, right? We grow our connection to our body. So Mom Boss Lifestyle is 2 parts. Mindset, growing your mindset, being more kick-ass, all of that kind of stuff, understanding the workings of this, letting yourself have that, while at the same time kicking ass in your strength training workouts inside of the Mom Boss Strength Training Program. Cool? So if you have any questions about Mom Boss Lifestyle, do not hesitate to reach out and talk to me. I will leave the link in the comments. But if you have any questions on how to understand why you feel salty AF in the morning sometimes and how you can still have a really freaking kick-ass afternoon and at night, let's chat. If you have any questions about that or like, what the hell do you even mean? Drop me a comment or shoot me a direct message and I will be happy to chat with you. Happy freaking Wednesday, guys. Bye-bye.